What's up, you guys? It's Michael here with FPL Advice, and today we're going to kind of take a look at different transfer plans I'm looking to make heading to Game Week 12. There's a lot of kind of really great options heading to Game Week 12. You can bring in Jota, you can bring in Son, Kane. There's the question of what to do with Jamie Vardy, as he does play Chelsea in Game Week 12, but does have really nice run of fixtures after that. So we're going to kind of take a look at different transfer options I'm thinking about making, and that can hopefully help you guys out decide what to do heading into Game Week 12. As you can see, my team currently is in a 5-2-3 formation, which I really dislike. I do have 2 free transfers, so obviously that will change the formation that I end up with before the deadline. In goal, I currently have Foster because I am thinking about bringing in Diego Jota. So if I do have Salah and Jota, I'm kind of hoping that they score some goals, and then that would mean that Ramsdale would not get many points. While Foster, I do think he can potentially keep a clean sheet against Man U, and if not, at least get some bonus points. In the back, I have Cancelo and Diaz against Everton at home, which I actually think is a very good fixture for them. Everton have not been performing very well over the last few games, while City have been. And also City have kept 7 clean sheets in 11 games so far this year. So again, starting both of them against Everton at home seems like a really good fixture for Man City. Chelsea are against Leicester in Game Week 12, and I currently have Chilwell and Rudiger from Chelsea along with Jamie Vardy. So this is a really difficult week because most of you also have Chelsea defenders, and I know many of you do have Jamie Vardy in your team. So the question really becomes whether we keep Jamie Vardy for this week, and then onward we have him for Game Week 13 to I think 16 for the really great fixtures that Leicester have, or do we transfer him out to bring in Kane or Son? If you do have him in your team, let me know in the comments what your plan is heading to Game Week 12 for Jamie Vardy. Livramento against Norwich is a great fixture. Southampton have been great defensively recently, while Norwich have been poor. Dean Smith did just get appointed as Norwich's new manager, so it'll be interesting to see how Norwich lines up. I still think that Livramento has the possibility of keeping a clean sheet against them, regardless of the fact that they just got a new manager. So he will most likely be in my starting lineup. 3 of my midfielders have terrible fixtures. Smith Rowe and Saka face Liverpool, while Sarr faces United. Saka and Sarr are the players I'm thinking about transferring out. Arsenal do have an easy fixture in Game Week 16. I think it's Newcastle. So Sarr is definitely the player that will be transferred out this week. I just need to kind of figure out who I will be bringing in, whether it is Son or Jota. But again, I'll show you guys later in the video what I'm planning on doing. Then we have Salah, who will most likely be my captain this week, unless I guess I bring in Harry Kane. I think that Arsenal have been performing much better than they were earlier in the season. So I actually don't think that the Liverpool-Arsenal game is an easy fixture for Liverpool, especially with the fact that Liverpool have so many injuries right now. And then Foden against Everton, who again, I think is a great fixture for City, and it's a fixture where I really think he can thrive in and perform in. Up top, as mentioned already, Vardy plays Chelsea, and really deciding what to do with him is so difficult because in Game Week 12, they play Chelsea, but next Leicester play Watford, Southampton, Villa, and then Newcastle. So 4 amazing fixtures where he can really get some returns in. And then Jimenez and Antonio to finish the team as they play each other. I do have a feeling that this will be a high-scoring game where both players will have the opportunities to get some returns. So as you can see, difficult decisions will need to be made. There is not an obvious transfer, at least I don't see it, but if you do, let me know in the comments down below. But other than that, let's get to my transfer options for Game Week 12. So option 1 is to simply bring in Kane for Vardy and then downgrade Sarr to a 4.4 million midfielder. I think Bissouma is the best option out of the 4.4 midfielders, so that's kind of who I went with. Kane did score 7 goals in 2 games over the international break, so he might have been quiet in the Premier League so far. But as you can see, he's in great shape, and I think that under Conte, I really, really do think he will perform much better than he did under Nuno Espirito. Tottenham have Leeds, Burnley, Brentford, and Norwich up next, so those are fixtures where it is a perfect time to bring him in. The second option is to leave Vardy in my team and not bring in any Tottenham players. I would still transfer out Sarr for Bissouma, but I would bring in Jota in for Saka. With Mane, Firmino, and Origi all injured, Jota is certain to start over the next few games, which is great. But by bringing him in, one thing to consider is that once all these players do come back, he is a player that you will then need to transfer out. And 2, can Liverpool continue to perform with all the injuries they currently face? I mean, you have Robertson, Henderson, Mane, Firmino, Keita, Milner. And the list goes on. So obviously it's still Liverpool and they can still score against anybody. But again, with all those injuries, I'm not entirely sure if Salah and Jota can do it all on their own. I'm not saying that, Liverpool don't have backup players who are world star players, because they do. But again, it's something to consider, especially with the fact that Arsenal have been playing quite well over the last few games. Then option 3 is to bring in Trent for Rudiger, Jota for Sarr, and Wood for Vardy. Again, this comes down to 3 things. One, is it worth bringing in more Liverpool players while there are so many players that are injured? 2, is this really worth taking the -4 points hit? And then 3, I'll still have 0 Tottenham players where their fixtures are amazing. And a lot of FPL managers will have Kane, Son, or Reguilon in their team. So if they start performing, this will really hurt my team. What I could do here instead is, instead of going for Trent, I could bring in Reguilon. Instead of Jota, bring in Son, and then Wood would still come in for Vardy. So this option would mean that I would have 2 Tottenham assets who are both very attacking, and I think would do extremely well starting in Gameweek 12. But again, this would mean that I would not have Trent in my team, while he's going to continue to rise in price. And again, he is the best defender in FPL right now. I guess Cancelo has the most points, but obviously I think Trent will outscore him in the long run. So the question is, do I really want to go with that Trent going into Game Week 12 and onward? Because it would be really difficult to bring him in later on. But that's all I have for you today. Let me know in the comments what your transfer plans are heading into Game Week 12. And if you do have Jamie Vardy in your team, are you planning on transferring him out, or are you going to keep him for the games after the Chelsea game? If you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new to FPL Advice. Again, thank you, and until next time.